Have you ever looked back at your relationships and thought, why does this keep happening to me? You meet someone new, they're intense, charming, a little mysterious. It feels exciting at first, but then the drama starts. The mood swings, the mixed signals, the subtle disrespect, and somehow you're in it again. If you've ever asked yourself why you attract toxic people, it's the twist. It's usually not about who you attract. It's usually about who feels familiar to your nervous system. There are two types of attraction most people don't talk about. One is peaceful, the other is familiar. And for a lot of us, familiar wins. Psychologist John Bowlby, who developed attachment theory, explained that our early relationships create an internal blueprint for love. We don't consciously choose this blueprint, we absorb it.
If love felt unpredictable growing up, if approval had to be earned, if you had to read the room to stay safe, and calm, steady love can actually feel boring or suspicious, but emotional chaos, that feels like home. There's also research by psychologist Helen Fisher, who studied romantic attraction. She found that we're often drawn to people who activate the same emotional circuits we learned early in life, especially those tied to longing and reward. In simple terms, if you had to work hard for love as a kid, you might feel most attracted to people who make you work for it again. Not because you like pain, but because your brain associates effort with value. Let's compare two patterns. The first pattern is someone who grew up with emotional safety. When they meet a stable, kind person, it feels natural. Their body relaxes. They don't confuse anxiety with chemistry. The second pattern is someone who grew up needing to adapt. They learn to anticipate moods, to smooth things over, to earn connection. When they meet someone emotionally unavailable, controlling, or unpredictable, their system lights up, not with comfort, with recognition. It feels intense, magnetic, deep. But intensity isn't intimacy. It's activation. And here's something most people don't realize. If you grew up in an environment where love was mixed with stress, criticism, silence, walking on eggshells, your nervous system wired love and tension together. So when you meet someone calm and consistent, your body might feel restless. Where's the chase? Where's the emotional roller coaster? Why doesn't this feel electric? But when you meet someone slightly dismissive, hot and cold, emotionally dramatic, your chest tightens. Your thoughts race. You feel that pull. That's not fate, that's pattern recognition. Psychologist Harville Hendrix, who wrote about imago relationships, suggested that we unconsciously choose partners who mirror unresolved childhood dynamics, not because we want to suffer, but because part of us hopes to finally fix the story, to finally win the love we didn't fully receive. But here's the cost. Emotionally, you become hyper-focused on them. You overanalyze texts. You question your worth. You shrink yourself to keep the connection. Socially, your world gets smaller. You cancel plans. You feel embarrassed explaining their behavior to friends. You slowly disconnect from people who see the red flags. Physically, your body pays. Chronic stress doesn't just live in your thoughts, it lives in your shoulders, your jaw, your stomach. When you're constantly unsure where you stand, your nervous system stays on alert. Your body releases cortisol. Your heart rate shifts. Sleep becomes lighter. You feel tired but wired. Over time, that tension feels normal and calm feels unfamiliar. This is why simply telling yourself, "I won't date toxic people anymore," rarely works. Because attraction isn't just mental, it's physiological. Your body has to learn that safety is not boring, that stability is not weakness, that kindness doesn't mean lack of passion, and that process takes awareness.
It often begins with a small, uncomfortable realization. You're not attracted to toxicity. You're attracted to familiarity. And familiarity can be retrained. It doesn't mean blaming your childhood. It doesn't mean blaming yourself. It means gently noticing your patterns. For example, when you meet someone new, ask yourself, does this feel calm or does it feel urgent? Do I feel open or slightly anxious? Am I trying to impress them or am I able to just be? Those tiny body signals matter. Healing this pattern isn't dramatic.
It's subtle. It's choosing to pause instead of chase, tolerating the boring feeling long enough to see if it's actually peace, letting your nervous system experience steady connection without running back to intensity. And here's something hopeful. Once your body learns safety, your attraction shifts. You start noticing different traits. You feel drawn to people who are consistent, emotionally available, grounded. And the old intensity, it starts to feel exhausting instead of exciting. That's growth. Not perfection, just awareness. If you've attracted toxic people in the past, it doesn't mean you're broken. It usually means you adapted. You survived emotionally in the best way you knew how, and now you're allowed to update that survival strategy. Slowly, gently, without shame. Because real connection doesn't feel like a roller coaster. It feels like being able to exhale. If this resonated with you, this is exactly the kind of conversation we explore here on Mind About People. No drama, no extreme advice, just honest reflections about how we relate to each other. If you want more of that, you're welcome to subscribe. Take your time, and thank you for being here.